Mr. Mike Langford. How are you?
If I got any better, I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably consult a doctor because it doesn't seem very natural.
Oh, that's a good one. You're setting us up in an optimistic way already for today, which is good because we're going to be talking about opportunities and problems.
Indeed. And there are many, but
there are many.
I'm an open book, man. Let's have the discussion.
Yeah. For people who aren't listening, so there's people who are listening to this as a podcast, but there's some people who watch it as a YouTube video, and behind your shoulder, it says Turtlehut. And what does it say underneath that?
Internet marketing.
Turtlehut Internet Marketing.
Yeah.
So let's start with this. Mike Langford, who the heck are you? And why are you talking to the world's greatest group of forward-facing business owners in the construction and contracting trades?
Well, a little bit about myself. Currently, I work with Turtlehut. I do our marketing strategy. Turtlehut is an internet marketing agency, so we silo very specifically, and we specialize on lead generation. We work largely in the construction industry, home services, a little bit of commercial, but mostly into home services. Right. We work with franchises like Dryer Vent Wizard, which is a neighborly company down in the great state of Texas. I'm in Michigan though, so can't fault me for that.
No, Michigan's got great fishing and hunting. Love it.
Yeah, it's truly a winter wonderland, and when it's not a winter wonderland, it's even more pleasant. But yeah, we work pretty much exclusively with home service companies, and with one single goal, and that is to grow, to find new clients, be a top of the funnel sales solution, assist people in finding the right people who need what they offer and want somebody quality.
So thank you for that. You know, we've got a working title for this episode, which is why paying for leads on Angelo's list, Mel, and Fow's is a waste of it can be a waste of time if people aren't doing it right. And I suppose you see a lot of people out there who've got the best of intentions. They want to grow the business. They know they've got the capacity. They've got a great team. They love what they do. They do good work. They want to get more business, but they're burning money.
Yeah. Hemorrhaging is more like it.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go there.
I've done everything. So to get into my background, not just what I'm currently doing, I came from the construction industry. I worked predominantly in roofing. And to make a very decade-long story short, my background was in marketing and sales. I took a lot of what I had learned out working for agencies and in college and all that different type of stuff, and applied it to the construction industry because it's a lot of dinosaurs and it was a lot of fun. But I grew with one particular company for about 10 years in the roofing industry. We do about half residential, half commercial. So a lot of flat TPO roofing, that type of stuff. Yeah. Meyer, which if you're outside of Michigan is a big, kind of superstore, grocery-esque chain, one-stop shopping type of thing. TPO roofs for those, a bunch of other franchises, restaurants, that type of thing. TPO being great for anything that has air handlers up on top that needs to handle grease or any chemicals, stuff like that. But my passion is marketing and my passion is sales. So I tried pretty much everything. We went in, when I started, they had a website, little website.
Yeah. This is the company you worked for had a website.
Yeah. They had a little one. And I came in and they were like, well, we really want you to hire more sales guys, train more sales guys. And I said, well, that's great. But here's the problem. We have to keep them busy.
Yeah. They got to have leads.
Yeah. 10 sales guys does nothing for you. You might as well just have 10 canvassers if you don't have leads for them. So we did anything and everything under the sun. Over a course of 10 years, we did very high-tech digital strategy. Sure. We did very low-tech in real life strategy. At one point, I had about 100 canvassers. I started a website entirely to attract canvassers.
Canvassers, that's a different world. Those are a different breed of person.
Well, so here's the thing. Pretty much anybody can be a canvasser if they decide that they actually want to do it. You need a little bit of confidence to talk to people, but showing up's 80% of it in a lot of cases.
Canvasser. Mike, just for the sake of it, because some people haven't heard of canvassers and not everybody here came from roofing or some of the roofing specialties that use canvassers. Can you give us a short sentence on what that is?
Yeah. So canvassers are really anybody who legally, of course, there's different different regulations in different areas, but essentially we would have a large group of college kids go out, walk through neighborhoods, knock on doors, leave door hangers, have conversations, and book appointments.
Right.
It's a very labor intensive thing because you've got maybe 100 of them, and maybe on any given day, because we only do this basically maybe Thursday evening if the weather's really nice.
Yeah.
But Friday afternoon and Saturday, those are our days. You don't play around on Sunday. You don't do any of that stuff. But you have to catch people while they're home. That's the whole point of it. But you might have 30 people at any given time working. We had 3 rental vans, and basically we were, like airport shuttle rentals. And I after kind of getting all this started, I hired somebody to manage that. They were taking the young guys and gals out into a neighborhood, and we didn't really just want to let them go, because that's the look of your company. That's the first taste of your company that anybody gets. So we spent a good deal of time teaching business lessons before going out. We're talking about leads, we're talking about construction, we're talking about canvassers, just the way that somebody in the audience may not know what a canvasser is. A lot of canvassers aren't familiar with what a lead is, or why a lead is important, or why it's paying so much money. So there's a couple of challenges there. You have to attract canvassers. It's not something that people really think of on their own. It's not a career. You got to find young people who are looking to work over a summer, make some money, work real hard, but still have plenty of free time and whatnot.
Sure. So they're door knockers. They're door knockers, and they go out there and they're kind of ambassadors in a neighborhood. You descend on a neighborhood, totally cover it.
Yeah, we'd be working in a neighborhood, and I'd meet up these pamphlets for the door that said "Pardon our dust." So it explains, hey, we've got strips of plastic, things blow around, it gets windy. If you have any problems whatsoever, you call us. We'll have somebody come over, take care of it immediately. Don't try and get something out of a tree yourself. We'll take care of it, which is a great, friendly thing to do in a neighborhood. That gets you some goodwill. But also, if anybody's thinking about getting a roof,
that starts the conversation. What was the conversion rate? You had 30 people hitting a neighborhood on a Thursday night. Let's just use that night as a sample. Sure. 30 people, they probably worked for 3 hours. What would you expect for leads on a day like that?
15 to 30 leads, depending on the neighborhood. And generally those leads cost me, we'd have people out at about $10 an hour, and I'd pay them $25 to set an appointment, and I'd pay them $100 if that appointment resulted in a sale.
Okay.
So, we can kind of divine the lead cost there. And this is rough math. Math is obviously not my forte. That's why I was in roofing.
But math is marketing. I'm going down the path. You can see here that I'm trying to figure out the acquisition cost per lead. Yeah. And for those of you who've heard the show before, you know where I'm going with this, because we're trying to figure out how much it costs to buy a client, in this case for roofing, because eventually on this show, we're going to move towards this online world where we're trying to buy leads on these housing service websites. And it's not working for lots of people. It's just not working. So let's look at this model of door knocking. What do you think your acquisition cost was to get a decent roofing job?
Roughly $350,
which is bad.
Pretty good. And we're talking in, 6 years ago's money.
Okay. So $347 today.
Yeah, right. But that's about what it was. So one of the great things that we did early on was keep meticulous data so that we could make informed decisions.
I love it.
There's got to be a strategy to what you're doing. Frankly, canvassing, the strategy was the acquisition of the people who are actually going to go out and do it. It's hard to get 30 people, let alone 100 people, basically moving in one direction at one time.
But it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier online. Let's switch to the online world where you're a specialist today at Turtlehut. We've got people listening right now that are, Mike, they're just frustrated. They're paying for leads. They're, the reality of some of these lead shops. They sell me the lead, but they also sell you the lead and 6 other people.
Yeah.
And then either the customer or the prospective customer gets 10 phone calls or no phone calls. And so they're frustrated as well. So maybe I'll give you the floor on this one. Tell us about the current state. What does the world look like in the online buying of leads from Melp, Angelo's list?
Yeah, the big players we can call.
Yeah, I don't like to use names, but
yeah,
so I didn't.
I don't want to trash talk anybody real specifically like that or anything like that. But sharing information with business owners is important, and these are important decisions. I mean, this is your livelihood, which is the whole reason that we're talking about it. But quite often, Angie's or not, Angelo's list, there's a lot of different things that change. They change their model fairly frequently. So there can be subscription models to some of these services. And then they generally have a slightly lower lead cost. Sometimes it's just straight lead cost. And how many leads does it take you to actually acquire a sale? It can range, $60 to 150 to 250 for a single lead. And as you said, you got 8 guys going on it. So when anybody ever fills out this info online, basically what they're doing, they said, I need a roof and I'm curious how much a roof costs, or I need to get my kitchen renovated. I have no idea where to start. Most people don't do more than one of these projects at any given time in their life.
They're thinking about one project. Sometimes it leads to another one where you got a foundation problem if you're trying to do something else. But generally, if I'm understanding, they're coming in for one thing. We need a new deck.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So they want to know how much this is going to cost. You get a lot of people that interact with these very large organizations that resell leads because they've created tools online to estimate cost, give some kind of value out to people. But the people that want this value want these online tools.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't realize they're the product. They have to click on something that says, yes, I know that, some guy is going to call me in whatever vertical, whatever industry they're interested in. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they really are interested. Some people really are early on in a buying process where they're just not going to do it right now. You get a lot of people that say, hey, I really need a new deck. And I say I really need it, but I don't really need it. I'm going to get it in a couple of years. But I'm curious. I want to know what I have to plan for. So they start searching on information. So the close rates on a lot of these things are fairly low. And then the individual lead cost is fairly high. So your acquisition can really easily get into $1,000 for a new.
I was going to say, you're still paying $300 a lead, but you have to burn through 10, 12 leads to get a deal.
Yep. And it depends on how you organize your sales organization and how your sales guys are. The average out there is closing 15%. And a lot of people will, authorize a POB for 15%, which is crazy.
So interesting, you say a 15% closing rate. Now, people listening right now are going to say, you two guys are full of what? Because my closing rate is 80%.
Yeah, no, I get it. And I write
and I disagree with them. Because your closing rate's 80% after you've sifted and sorted everybody.
Yeah.
So we can be talking about they're called conversion rates, Mike, to you and I, right? We've got leads, we've got, their sales process, that's the conversion rate, and that gives us the customer. And so anybody who's listening who says, Dom, you don't understand, I already have an 80% closing rate. My friend, I got to stop you for a second, and I'd like to have a coffee or a beer one day and talk to you about why that conversion rate's too high.
Mm-hmm.
You can't double an 80% conversion rate. So that means you're limiting the strategy you have in your business is limited for growth. You're maxed. You can't do it. If you start to look at your conversion rate properly, which is all incoming leads, and do the simple math, it really is simple math. You've got to sift and sort higher up in your process, not when I'm in front of somebody, I close them. I get it. You're a good guy or you're a good, lady. You understand what you're doing. But that's not the real conversion rate. Sorry, Mike, I ranted for a sec. Did you catch that?
No. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Oh, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, you're 100% right. When I talk to guys and they say, yeah, 80%, I get 80% of them. 80% of, 8 in a whole year still isn't that great. There's a lot of ways that people, kind of tell themselves that their story is good. And having a good outlook on everything is very important. Don't get me wrong, but having a realistic outlook and goals and knowing how to get from point A to point B, way more important than just baseless positivity.
Yeah, I'm a hard ass on myself first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Because I can go believe in it. Anyways, let's go back to marketing. So tell me, so we've got a bunch of people who listen to this show, well-intentioned. I call them facing forward because they have their businesses running the way it is right now. But they're not just looking at the ground. They're saying, what's next? That's why they listen to my show. What's next? Where do I go next? I got to give me some good information. So let's talk about this online lead problem that we're all faced with, because the sales reps are calling us, or maybe in some states they're dropping by. Is it a good solution for me to go with an agency that's going to sell me leads, or what's the alternative?
Well, so there's two main pathways to go online. You can buy leads that somebody else has cultivated. So that means that a lead is expecting a deck guy or a siding guy to call them. So they get 10 calls from 10 siding guys. They set up 3 appointments because that's just what everybody innately knows is I got to get 3 bids. So they set up 3 appointments. They meet with 3 guys, and that's that. They pick who they like, or they decide not to do anything at all, which is always an option.
Right.
But that customer experience is that they were expecting somebody that can do something for them to call them. Conversely, if you're developing your own leads, if you have your own marketing system in-house that is tailored specifically to you, when somebody is expecting a call, when somebody gives you their precious information and their precious time, what they're expecting in return is you specifically. So they are expecting Mike Langford to call them. Right? You already know the
relationship is built.
It's at least started. We have a communication system. They see, what you've crafted for their particular client journey. And that is a much stronger way of starting out a cold internet relationship with a new potential client. Because let's be honest, these are not referrals. This is not your grandmother telling somebody in her book club that they really should have you paint the interior of their house. I mean, you're getting that one. That one's totally fine. But when somebody says, I need the interior of my house painted, they go online, it's not the same relationship at all. So it's better to start that on a warm footing, to start that with a chain of communication that shows people why they should trust you.
One of my favorite documents that I encourage clients to put online is just use painting, because you used painting as an example. It could be roofing, it could be HVAC, plumbing, slab jacking, mold removal, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
How beautiful homes are painted in Aurora North, whatever your community is called. Yeah. And I'm going to click that, and I'm going to go, oh, this is how beautiful homes, or this is how family homes are painted in this area. And I'm going to see, oh, Mike Langford wrote this. What else has he got for a free download? And then I start to interact with you. Are we talking about that sort of thing where you're putting bait out there, like valuable, intelligent bait, interesting tidbits that I want to consume? And then now I feel like I know you, Mike, when I get on the phone.
Exactly. But not with a branding strategy. You got to know what you're looking for. Just like you said, you're clicking on that ad that says interior painting, this area of the country, right? Because that's what we've targeted. That's the client that we're trying to get. And that client experience needs to be vastly different. Let's use roofing and siding, because these very often go together, but they're very, very different skills. They're very different trades. So if somebody is searching for siding, they need new siding, they want James Hardy siding, that new 8th gen, that's exactly what I need, they better darn well land on a page that says, what we do is James Hardy siding, pre-colored, or, we can do the just base model that's already primed, and we can
Primers,
it all. Yeah. I know that, all of the end cuts have to be primed and painted. We're using the special, 4-tooth saws. We have dust remediation systems. We care about the plants and plant life and landscaping around your house, all these things. That's the kind of aha moment that we want with somebody that we found online. They said, aha, this guy is exactly what I'm looking for. Now, if you're a company that also offers roofing and somebody's searching for siding, but you're just kind of trying to put your ads out in front of them, if they land on a homepage that says, well, we do roofing, we scream all about all the roofing that we do because it's more profitable and I can get one roof done a day and I've got crews and I would rather be roofing. That's what your homepage might say, even though you do siding. Well, if you'd rather be roofing, I want somebody who'd rather be siding. It's
because I'm looking for siding, not roofing. Yeah.
It's a completely different customer journey.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that, because one of the challenges that I encounter all the time, and I think people know it when they're talking to me, is, and I'm going to say this as a compliment because it is, but a lot of the people listening to this show are not intimidated by anything in construction. They can do anything.
Yeah.
They can do roofing, top of the building. They can do forms, bottom of the building. They can probably do a little bit of plumbing and electrical. The challenge is that's not what their business is. It's not what their crew is set up to do. Their tools are set up to do. Their invoicing set up to do. Their estimating set up to do. And so that's quite often a conversation that we have right at the beginning of a phone call, or when I meet somebody, is like, Dom, I can do anything. We do fences and decks. I do remodels, renovations. I got a cabinet guy if I want to do a full kitchen or a bathroom. And sometimes I build garages. I build barns as well. Sometimes I do. Yeah, and they just go on with this list. They could build an entire city. You can, but you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
You got to pick one. Just pick one. I don't even care which one it is. What's that?
It's not what your client really wants to hear quite often. I mean, I like a talented guy just as much as anybody else, but if I have a specialized need, I want a specialist, not somebody who says they're a specialist.
I have a specialized need. I need a specialist. I'm going to write that. That was pretty good, Mike.
Well, thank you.
I have a specialized need. I need a specialist.
First one's free. Next one, I got to charge you rights on.
Oh, yeah. It's okay. I write slowly. So how do we stop burning our money on schmaus and schmangy trick and I'm trying to not say the names.
Your audience is going to be spread across the level of experiences, a level of years in business, and comfort levels. Probably pretty high with comfort levels, but
you mean my audience on this show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's somebody out there listening to me right now that says, man, the upfront investment in, a big marketing system just isn't what I'm looking for, because I'm not sure if I'm going to do this longer than 5 years. A lot of guys kind of get into things. Certainly in our area, every time General Motors does buyouts, there's about 15 new contractors a minute for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
Guys go out and they hang a shingle. And that's great. A lot of those guys do really great work in a wide variety of industries because they're coming in with a certain expertise. They like doing something, but this may not be what they do forever. And they're often not sure if they can make money doing it yet, because a lot of businesses fail. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
If that's you, and there is a lead service out there and you're saying, I don't know how to get people in the door. This is not why I got into the business. I got into the business to do X or Y or Z, which I'm very good at. Go out, try it out, buy a couple of those leads. That's completely fine. I'm not going to tell you that, nobody on earth should ever use any of these lists or depots or any of these things. When you're new in an industry, it can be a real game changer. Yeah. And sure, it's more expensive, but the return on investment is still there. I mean, we just talk about ROI left and right. That's really what I care about for a lot of my clients. But the difference between my clients and somebody starting out is that my clients need predictable volume. So there's seasonality and a whole bunch of things, but they want predictable volume. They say, I have 3 sales guys. In order to keep 3 sales guys busy and 6 crews, I need 75 leads a month, and I need it consistently. I don't need more than 75. I figured out I need 75. Well, when you're getting 75, 100, 250 leads a month to keep a sales team busy, to keep your crews busy, to keep production up, just to keep growing, all of a sudden you start caring if they're $250 or $70. It's a huge ROI difference.
Can I add something here?
Please.
If I'm that guy that you're talking about, or lady, who needs predictability in their business, quite often the reason they need predictability is because at some point they actually want to sell the company.
Yeah.
Or they want their company to be buyable. Somebody has to want to buy it. Now, they might not be thinking about selling today, but they might be thinking, my son, Johnny, my nephew, James, my daughter, Julie, I think she could take this company over one day. I don't want to give her a pile of dirty laundry. I want to give her a beautiful, functioning business that she can take on and I can be proud of. and build this family legacy. So this whole conversation starts sounding a lot like, transactional cost, but you have to go down this with the intention, with the thought that, hey, I'm trying to build something here that's not just business cards and a pickup truck.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. I started like that. Mike, sounds like you spent a lot of time doing that as well. Actually, I had a station wagon and a Volkswagen Rabbit at one point. But
no
yeah, that poor thing had carried more ladders than it was supposed to. But the point is,
one with a 5-speed Volkswagen Rabbit. I'm not kidding.
Oh yeah, no, and they run great, but not up hills with ladders on them.
Yeah, or down hills with ladders on them for that matter.
Really fast. But my point is that business was just business cards and tools to me. Yeah. It wasn't a business where I was going to turn the legacy of my family around. And so I didn't invest. I knocked on doors and I did the things I did to run the business, but I was working for a wage. I wasn't building a company that was going to be Rubino XYZ. And Mike, that's what I think you're talking about here when you say, somebody says, hey, Mike, I need predictability. I've got 3 sales reps. I've got a running operation. I need to know these many leads come in. The ... is because this business means something to me and my family. Or
exactly.
Yeah.
One of the things I was talking with a good buddy of mine, Patrick, and he's not going to mind me using his name. He owns a roofing company, and we were having this discussion about why he does what he does. And it was one of the best discussions I think I've ever had with a contractor. You want to know why? He told me about the family and the new house and the kid on the way of his newest sales guy. That's all he cares about. He wants to
take care of other people.
For other people. Yeah. He wants to provide great opportunities and great jobs to people. And that's one of the things that a lot of people don't understand about small business owners is just how much they care about their community and their people.
How much they drive the economy.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And when your goals are to do well for others, you're going to be just fine. That's my theory. And it's always worked out for me.
Worked for me.
Yeah. But,
that's why I'm not paying you to be on the show. Sorry. Shouldn't laugh.
Well, if anybody on the show is listening, you can see me where somebody is paying me to talk. June, I believe it's 16th through the 18th.
Oh, where?
San Antonio.
Yeah.
I'll be talking at the Roofers Association of Texas conference, which is going to be just a heck of a good time. I'll be out there talking about a lot of the same things, sales and marketing, but it'll be very roofing focused. Mm-hmm. So if you hear me now and you happen to be in Texas and you're a roofer and you're going, please say hi. Tell me where you saw me. I'd just absolutely love to hear it. And I can't wait to put faces to names with anybody that we might virtually be meeting today.
Mike, if somebody comes to the show, can you do me a favor, take a selfie and send it to me. We'll post it on the site. We have a good laugh about it.
100%.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
So what does the alternative look like? If I'm going to sit with a guy like you, and by the way, no offense, Turtlehut is a company that does this for a living. I hope everybody's okay with that. So Mike, you might get some phone calls after this. But what's the process I need to go through? You've already outlined who I need to be. I need to be serious about my business. I need predictability. We should probably spend 2 seconds. How did you get the name Turtlehut?
Well, Turtlehut has been around for a while. We got started back in '99 in the infancy of the internet.
Yeah.
And the whole reason, the name just sounds cool and it's stuck. There's a couple of stories that go along this, but we're your shell on the internet. We got started in hosting and security initially. We did some light development and whatnot. But everybody in the company really loved growing businesses. That was the passion. And so what is growing a business? Oftentimes marketing.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do with operations, don't get me wrong. But the fun part to me is marketing. So that's why we went down that whole rabbit hole. And in earnest, since 2005, we've been very specifically an internet marketing firm, just doing lead generation. And as I said, mostly for home services.
You and I know you do lots with franchises. And for people, some of you are in franchises listening to this, but for those of you who aren't, franchises have an amazing and very strict set of rules and guidelines. Yeah, because they run on their SOPs. They run on their standard operating procedures, their systems, their processes. I hate to say their policies, but you know what I mean? Like they have rules for how a business operates successfully. because that has to be a turnkey business that runs pretty much right out of the gate.
Yeah,
and so
that's
you
what you're
guys,
buying.
what's that, Mike?
That's what you're buying. You're buying a marketing system and an operations system that works.
And so you guys are often part of that because you deal a lot with franchises. I used to be a franchisor with the company I sold prior to this one. But tell me through the scope of things that a company like yours would provide. Like typically, do you guys build websites and do you do lead generation, or do you just tell people what their colors and brands should look like?
Well, I don't get into branding. I don't get into any of that stuff at all. We're good at it. Don't get me wrong. I don't monetize it. We stick within our lane. I have a team of about 15 people. And by staying in our lane and becoming truly experts on what we specialize in, we just offer the best service that way. But with franchises, there's really kind of a twofold strategy here. So as a franchisor, you need more franchisees. And boy, howdy, you want to talk about leads being expensive there. There's an entire industry. The franchise broker industry is huge, absolutely huge. And I'd love to hear your experience in that end of it.
Yeah, that's for a different show, because those franchise brokers have turned the industry on its ear. You have to pay to be on their network for them to send you leads. Don't get me started. I'm going to rant.
Oh yeah. And these leads, $50,000, $100,000.
And by the way, folks, just to remind you, Mike and I have gone off on a tangent here talking about the franchisors who are selling Dominic's roofing or Dominic's painting services or whatever the franchise is.
Yeah.
Coming back to tradespeople who own their own business. The reason I'm bringing it up is because, Mike, you guys have been squeezed through a filter that a franchisor puts you through, which means you have to maintain standards that exist at a very high level.
Well, we offer, once again, consistency at this level. So Dryer Vent Wizard is a great example of this. Dryer Vent Wizard has a lot of franchisees that own a truck, maybe two, not a whole lot of employees, and they're out there every day in the field working. Many of them.
They need lots of leads then, because how long does it take to clean one dryer vent?
Well, it all depends on the area and the services and cross sells and all that stuff. I don't want to talk too specifically about a very unique thing because I'll just be wrong. But they need something good. And the problem is when your average, contract value is under $1,000, even if you have a 40% profit margin, doesn't necessarily leave a whole lot of marketing money and a whole lot of profit money to then reinvest in the business, grow, pay yourself, do all these different things. So being part of a franchise like that, the big advantage is that I can roll out a very sophisticated marketing program for very little money because I have a massive economy of scale. The franchisor wants a consistent experience. They want tools that work. They want their franchisees to be successful because, let's be honest, if you're in the franchise industry, you know darn well that you've got a percentage going back to corporate, be it for profit, be it for marketing, be it for whatever they say, whatever your franchising agreement is. A rising tide raises all ships. And that's kind of how we look at it. And
what about the solo guy, Mike? What about the solo guy who's listening here who has his own painting, siding, cabinetry, curb business, landscaping, whatever the trade is? How do those guys take advantage of something like this? Is it by leveraging the knowledge you have, or what's the?
Well, we have established some verticals within different industries where we've taken this franchise model and opened it up to people who are not in a franchise. They may want something that's consistent and a lot less expensive. For example, like with roofers, I can provide a very, very comprehensive system for $500 a month, whereas previously you really would have been looking at, and that's just in management, which would get you a website and a marketing system. But that exact same system as a one-off, anywhere from $1,700 all the way up to $6,000 a month in retainer without ad spend. So I can service a lot of people to a very high degree with a very specialized team at a good price. So there are vertical systems out there. to diverge a little bit from home services, because I'll talk about an industry that I'm not myself in, and everybody can kind of take this for what it's worth. But if you're in financial services and you have compliance, you already know what it's like to deal with an internet marketing company, because there's about 5 that you can choose from. You know, you'll get orders from on high. The compliance has to be in place. We have to do this. We have to do that. You have to use them. You have to use 20/10, all these different things. There's often, not great options, but there are options, and you're just kind of stuck with them. So there's a couple of ways to think about it. You can find somebody with an established vertical that specializes in exactly what you do, and often get a really good product at a really good price. You can also find somebody who actually understands you and wants to partner with you. I mean, because really what we're talking about, we become your marketing department. I mean, it's almost like we're in-house. So when you find somebody like that, if the ROI makes sense, you can get really great results with great custom solutions. But if you're at that lower end of the business journey and, volume of business, I would say seek out verticals. And verticals being in our industry what almost everybody calls them. So there's a little Google foo hack for you if you're going to go searching for things. Search for marketing verticals.
Yeah, so that you can specialize in and know those specific keywords and phrases that go along with that, right?
Yeah. And what you get for that is somebody who will take, a very good system that's customizable just enough and brings a wealth of experience.
Let me go the other direction on this, and I hear this sometimes. Mike, we're taken care of. My niece is going to do my website. She's got the summer off college.
Good luck. I'll talk to you in 6 months.
Yeah. I don't want to be impolite to anybody or their niece or college, but a website's not a billboard.
No,
it is an intelligent tool that operates both as a spider and as a wolf. You've got to cast a net, and then once people come in, you have to have a way to funnel them down the path, and that's why I say spider and wolf. But too often I've heard people say, you know what, my son's just finished in high school. He's gonna build our website. But we're taken care of on that front.
Often I see this, and at a certain stage of business, it can make a lot of sense. And from a family perspective, it can make a lot of sense. I mean, that's all there is to it.
For sure. Yeah. Employing your family. Yeah, I get it.
That's why a lot of people get into business. So I understand it. But when we talk about things like SEO, search engine optimization, big buzzword out there, what people don't realize, often when they think of SEO, they think of the words on a page. And that's a small part. It may be 25%. Then we get into things like fractions of a second for load speed, image caching, security. Pretty soon, we're all going to have to deal with basically the government saying what data we can and can't collect and what we can use, and the compliance they're in. And there's a lot of pitfalls with that. Knowing how to license images that you use. I mean, I see a lot of times people go online and they'll do an image search for something that they need, and they'll see a picture that they like, throw it right up on their website, and you are open to a lawsuit right there. I mean, you're going to settle it. I'll tell you that right now, because there's no winning it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of relative pitfalls with that. You need people who have a very broad understanding of the industry and what it takes to be successful, and what it takes to basically preserve your risk. It's risk mitigation.
It's a risk. There's a risk profile to it. I think the best analogy I can come up with, and I'm looking for a better one, is it used to be easy to fix your own car.
Oh yeah.
It used to be easy to pop the hood and change the oil, maybe take the air filter, whatever it was. But now, first, I have to get special programming to pop the hood. I need a special tool to take off the cowling that protects the engine. The only thing I can do is check the oil, because technology has changed and car makers have changed technology. Yeah. Well, the internet is not just the internet anymore, and a website's not just a website anymore. There are a gajillion specialties underneath that, and understanding how those pieces work together would be the same as taking the transmission out of your 72 Nova on the garage floor and trying to put it back together properly. It's not the same thing anymore.
And if you like car analogies, my favorite one is the Pontiac Fiero. So you can make a Pontiac Fiero look just like a Ferrari, but it's not a Ferrari.
It's still a Fiero.
Yeah, it's still a Fiero underneath. There, you can put a real shine on something, but Google does not care how pretty something is. People do quite often, but also design is subjective. What you like may not be what your clients like. We do a lot of market research to try and position things correctly, because it is positioning. You know, we'll sometimes get the CEO of a company or CMO, somebody who says, I really want a lot of moving images. I love it. I absolutely love it. I want to see moving images. And I look over and I go, cool. What page do you want to see those on? Because I'm not gonna put that one anywhere. I'm gonna bury that one. You can see it when it's done.
Yeah.
But I have to conform to a strategy that's designed to succeed, not designed to just make the client happy. So unfortunately, our industry, the client's usually right.
Yeah. So I'll tell you something that a marketing guy said to me once when I was running one of my other companies, because I had this great idea. It was, I thought it was all nailed down. This is going to work. And he said, Dominic, there's two kinds of ads in the world. He goes, there's the ad the owner wants, and then there's ads that work. Which one do you want?
That's exactly right.
Oh, he hit me right in the eyes with that one.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So it sounds like you got to take you look at data in order to make the decision. And you laid out a great point there. It doesn't matter what you want your site to look like. It's what your user expects of your site, so that they feel comfortable reaching out, giving you their email address, maybe picking up the phone, etc.
Yeah. Unless you don't care about new clients or making money. Some people don't. Good for them. But I haven't seen a use case for that yet.
Yeah. They are probably not listening to the show.
Yeah. I don't think they're real big in the investing in themselves kind of concept, like people who listen to podcasts like this.
Yeah. Well, since you said podcasts like this, Mike, if somebody wants to get in touch with you after this and find out more about how you do what you do, or trade notes, or talk about how to see you in San Antonio, how would we find you?
Sure. Turtlehut.com is real easy. You can find contact us information right there. If you want to get a hold of me directly, it's just mike@turtlehut.com. And that's a direct line to me. So if you have any questions, if I can help you in any way, I'd be more than happy to. We're a fairly patriotic company, and we love our veterans. Any veterans, anytime. This is one of our big things. We'll do marketing assessment for veteran-owned businesses. I'll give you a really good consultation session, just because that's what we want to do. We want that to grow. So there's a lot of things there, but any of the listeners, I'll extend that to any of the listeners of your show. If you're interested in having a little marketing consultation, getting a completely third-party, unbiased opinion to come in and give you a look, I'm totally fine with that.
That's great.
People.
Thank you. That's very nice of you. Thanks. All right, Mr. Langford, thank you so much for joining us on the show. It's been very enlightening and a little bit funny, which is good. Both of those together are a good combination.
Yeah, they work.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks very much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much for having me. It was an absolute pleasure, and best of luck to everybody in the audience in their journey. I really, truly wish you the best.